In an ideal world, this 2025 long session of the North Carolina General Assembly is about passing a budget that equitably, it really is a beautiful word, a budget that equitably supports taxpayers' priorities. This is politics, though, so when you mix that with the people's priorities, well, you know how it goes. Which is why the closer to the people Cam was roaming through the General Assembly to see just what's going on with our money.
We need to see economic empowerment. We need to see funding that is geared toward empowering communities in those areas I spoke of, education, as well as in health, as well as in empowering nonprofits in areas to do that work that policy at the state level might not be able to necessarily capture and engulf.
Now, Representative Pierce is just one elected official. We're not going to take his word only on this. His constituents are down east. Here's a look from out west.
Some of those line items would be an increase in teachers' pay above what the Senate recommended. I can't remember off the top of my head what that number was, but it was nowhere near enough. North Carolina has the lowest teacher pay in the country, especially in the Southeast, and that doesn't have to be the way it is. Would also like to see cost of living adjustments for state employees who have retired. They have given their lives to they have dedicated their lives to serving our state. And if I'm not mistaken, over the past 10 years have maybe seen about a $9 increase in their retirement benefits per month. Who can survive off of that, especially over the past 10 years? So I would love to see an increase in cost of living adjustments for retired state employees too.
One thing worth noting in this year's budget debate is the break from the tradition of following caucus norms. We've heard the chatter about Senator Dan Blue going against the grain by supporting the budget proposed by the Republican-led Senate. So we dropped in on the former Senate Minority Leader to cut through the noise and get a first-hand understanding of his approach to the early budget talks.
A budget document is a process. It's a give and take, as most legislation is. Now, when the opposing party has a veto-proof majority, they can ignore you, but we've tried to make sure that our voices are heard, that we're advocating for things that are beneficial for our districts. And that means looking at it, for the most part, from a Black perspective on some of the key issues. And so my primary concern in this budget is on educational funding, and especially in HBCUs. And this budget spends over $100 million for needed repairs at North Carolina Central University. Repairs that are causing students to protest. It provides $130 million new addition, a new building at Winston-Salem State University. It provides the continued funding to make North Carolina A&T State University only the second HBCU in the country to have Research 1 status by the Carnegie Foundation measurements. In this budget, you've heard a lot of talk about eliminating the historically underutilized businesses provision that we passed 2 decades ago. We are confident that we will save the HUBs, the hub units, as we go into deliberations on the Senate bill. We're comfortable that we will restore the Innocence Commission. I think it's a budget that we can have some real say-so on how that $33 billion a year is spent, and not just complain about it. We're elected to get results. But the current budget that passed the Senate, no, it's got a lot of shortcomings. We need to do more for public education, especially K through 12. And I'm going to be fighting to do that. We're going to be fighting to make sure that people who work for the state are paid decent salaries. We're going to work to make sure that adequate daycare is in place to let our people go to work.
Listen, North Carolina Black Alliance is not out here siding with any political party. What we do is make sure you and your fellow residents across the state have an understanding of the political process, which is not just limited to the votes you cast at the ballot box, but how those votes improve your community both now and in the future. So you need to understand this won't be our last time speaking with the individuals we elect to bring resources to our districts. It is crucial for us to take the time to ensure you know what's happening in Raleigh with your hard-earned investment in our state. Hey, that's all I got. Do us a solid and stay close to us. We'll return the favor and stay closer to the people.